What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Ra. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is Count Von Count. The map is Sheltered Pass. This is game number 3 of this best of 3 series for the group stages of the Champions League. A nail-biting series thus far. Incredibly close games in game number 1 and game number 2. Inches between these two players in terms of potential to win the game. We've got Count Von Count going in with the Odin yet again, but on a different map this time to that first map. What was the first map? I vaguely recall it being Savannah. I vaguely recall it being Savannah. Sometimes my memory's not so great. But Kimo here going back in with the Ra. He's gone for what looks to be hunting dogs here in this game. And he's going to have to make this work. We have seen him play this matchup once before in Pandora's Box, I believe. And I believe he played it against Soup. That's my belief. So against Soup, he played Ra versus Odin. Soup went for like a 1 town center semi-fast heroic through Njord, or even a fast heroic through Njord, or maybe a 2 town center fast heroic through Njord. I don't remember. But he got absolutely blown off the map. This is a new Kimo, though. He's played this matchup before, that means. So he should have at least a little bit of experience here to understand how he can deal with what Odin is going to throw at him. Now, Count, different player to Soup, but there's a lot of similarities between Count and Soup. Both players, incredibly experienced AOM players, RTS veterans, so to speak, with a lot that they can manage to do. You can just use that ox cart there. You don't have to bring it over. Okay, it's fine. So we'll see what Count's going to come up with. Is he going to go for a fast second town center? There's a decent town center here with some great rhinoceros. There's a town center over here you could potentially try and grab. You don't really want to grab the town center against the Ra player here in the early game. We are seeing houses coming down for Kimo. He's got the villagers on the gold ready to chop that temple down. This is... Obviously, it does look like Kimo here is trying to get... He's trying to get a 4-minute and 2-second advance time. This is what this looks like to me. But, yeah. We've talked about this. I don't think I need to say it again. Obviously, Kimo doesn't watch my my build order critiques, but you can definitely hit a 402 advance time with just one villager building the temple, as opposed to putting all of your villagers on the temple and empowering it. But maybe it's better to put all your villagers on the temple and empower it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We'll see how many resources here that Kimo has. It looks like he's actually going for a classical fight. He's going for a classical fight. Right? Heimdall coming through here for Count Von Count. Kimo goes for a classical fight. We see the monument to the villagers coming up here. This is very spicy. I like this from Kimo to opt into this build against Odin, especially with the Odin with the temple in the middle of the map, the houses coming up, the giraffe in the middle of the map here that he can claim for himself. Going for a classical fight here is going to be really, really strong. We'll have to wait and see how it's going to go, though, for Kimo as the Monuments of the Villagers about to finish up. We do see the Pharaoh starting to move forward, looking for some early game harass onto the Hersa or onto the Ulfsark. We are seeing the Ravens scouting around, checking out the town centers and everything else here, as Kimo will be spotting the units here as they're going to start getting a little bit of damage done. But there's the Dark coming through. Kimo can start laying into that one there as we see one barracks coming up with 3 villages. This is... You can tell Kimo doesn't do this. You can tell this is not Kimo's forte. He does not play this strategy. He does not know the kind of meta, so to speak. But hilarious nonetheless, as the villagers starting to move forward onto this position with 3 villagers building the barracks up. That will be a very quick barracks to be completed As the Iron coming over here to say g'day onto these units here. He does find the Herser building this one up. Going to be able to push that back. Kimo's got plenty of food in the bank here. He just has to micro those villagers to keep them alive. Nice job there to keep that one alive as the Iron are going to get chased down the Herser back onto the longhouse here as Count von Count in a very, very difficult position. We see the shifting sands onto that Herser, dragging it into the main base over here. Will Kimo drop an armory or some sort of a ghost build here? It looks like he is not gone for that. The Herser might be able to escape, but the center of the map has been claimed here for Kimo as Count von Count right at the moment. He's still eating his hunt here. He's trying to get the longhouses back up on this position, and the pressure from Kimo is starting to mount here. One thing that Kimo could opt into doing, which would hurt Count von Count even more, would be probably to take the villagers off of the food for the time being and start shanking houses down. Might sound a bit funny, but I think the villagers here shanking down their houses kills the houses faster than he would be able to grab the 40 resources. It'd probably take about around 5 seconds to kill a house with 5 villagers is my guess, maybe a little bit more, but definitely not more than 10 seconds. Definitely not more than 10 seconds. So it would be a value play to say the very least, and that would slow down Count von Count's production very, very nicely. There's more units coming through. Kimo will need to start thinking about throwing down a second barracks here if he wants to continue this classical fight. This is one of those things that you have to play the classical. Good find there from Count. Snipes a villager. You have to play the classical fight from the Egyptian perspective several times over to understand the economy, because it's very different to everyone else. Egyptian is the only civilization that gets a unit that trains in 9 seconds or 10 seconds in the Axeman and the Spearman, as opposed to the raiding cavalry, 18 seconds, or the hoplite, 14 seconds, all these things. So you have to kind of think a little bit differently about how many barracks you throw up, when you throw them up, when you start producing. But look at this. Kimo, he's got the resources to drop this town center at the top side of the map. The Rhino over there are going to be a very, very useful thing for him to grab. We'll see if that's what he's going to be going for. He's grabbing himself Shadoof at the time being, as the raiding cavalry need to be pushed back. Villagers finishing up on the food there, as he's going to be returning back home. What? Why? You still have hunt here. Finish the hunt. Is he... I don't understand. So what Kimo's doing here, at least in my opinion, is he's going to be throwing farms down. He's got all of these goats here. He's got all of these rhinoceros at the top. He's got all of the giraffe over here. If he continues with a classical fight, gets out even more Wadjet here, gets a second monument, puts pressure in the classical edge, he's going to be able to have all of that hunt, and he doesn't need to farm. Instead, throwing the farms down, spends the resources on the gold for one. Yes, you get a slight boost. You do get a boost to your food income. 100% rained farms are better than hunting in terms of the food that comes through for that 1 minute. But you're giving all of the hunt over to the Norse player. As rain does get dropped down, the raiding, look at all the units that Count has here. He's not going to be threatened at all here. He's like, I see you've got nothing. If I kill that barracks off, you're not going to be able to build anything as well. As the village is getting pushed off, Kimo doesn't have any gold in the bank here, as the house on this location is starting to get torn down. Count going to be retreating back for the time being. We do see a Einhjar does get spawned there, as the thrown axeman is in a nice retreat here. We'll be able to get healed back up by Odin's bonus, as those spearmen are going to be moving around the map, trying to get some sort of raid happening here. Kimo's got lots of food in the bank, lots of gold about to come through as well. But, I mean, the problem for Kimo is, once that gold mine goes, he needs a second gold mine. How is he going to be able to secure that? I thought grabbing this town center, grabbing that hunt, going full population, and then getting that gold mine was going to be a nice way to go. But Kimo, he's going to have to get a Migdal stronghold over there, and he's going to be continuously pressured on this location, as well as the army comes back in here. We do see the spearmen getting chased away by a handful of those raiding cavalry. They're easily able to chase the spearmen, but the good thing is the spearmen can turn around and take that fight if they so choose. But it looks like Kimo not doing that just yet, and Kimo now moving over onto the wood location here. There's wood over here as well. Is there still a Freya left? No, that he went through Heimdall, of course. He could have undermined this as well, but he's saving that undermine, it seems, for the Migdal stronghold, which makes it even tougher for Kimo to leave his base. As one house goes down on that position, Kimo's going to have to chuck down a whole bunch of houses here, as he has not focused on doing that in the slightest, as the raiding cavalry come through, clean up the spearmen on this position nicely with that medium raiders coming in clutch. And Kimo's in a very, very difficult position here. As the villagers, they might want to try and sneak this gold mine. It's an idea. Could go for that. Count's not checking it. We do see some villagers now coming back over onto the gold. Kimo going to hit that heroic age fairly soon. Most likely drop a market and start selling here. At that moment, as the tower's getting some good damage done. Do see the iron here. Going to start tanking this one as the barracks gets cleaned up. Hand axe on the way. Rock spawns. Wadget. Pitsukos out. We see a market coming through here as well. As the barracks does go down. Throw an axeman coming through. We see the Hersa trying to dive in onto the Pitsukos, onto the Wadget as it's pulling back here. Pharaoh on that position, doing its best to push back. We see the Raven getting taken out. And Count von Count here looking to push through. Still, as there hasn't been a Migdol thrown down just yet. And we finally... Okay, if you're going to undermine it earlier. There is also another way that I think you can send the undermine through to this tower and potentially kill that if you place it in the right spot. As you see a Migdol stronghold getting thrown up, more houses going down, villagers pushed off this gold mine for the time being. Kimo with plenty of food in the bank here as Count retreats back. The question is going to be, is Count going to continue spamming units, or is he going to be... Oh, he's going for a second town center. So that answers that question. I was going to say, or go to the heroic cage or get a second town center. So now the raids starting to come in for Kimo. Is going to have that Migdol stronghold up, but in order to build units out to deal with what Count von Count has, he needs a lot of time here to build his cavalry. Villagers falling here. 31 villages to 36 villages. More villagers going to be getting picked off. We also don't see Skin of the Rhino through just yet for Kimo. So those villagers are very, very weak here. Count's food starting to skyrocket here. He's finished up on those zebra. He can move forward onto the giraffe in the middle of the map. He's on the rhino over here as well as the rock is checking out on the wrong position as the dwarves coming over here to that gold mine. They are going to be fairly exposed over there as we actually see that Count's on both of the golds as Kimo is searching for a locust. He could hit that locust. He could take down all those villagers and effectively get an equal position villager count wise. But as we know, equal position villager count does not necessarily mean equal position resource count, as the village is going to be retreating away. Kimo is going to be dropping that locust down. Hits the villagers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 villagers going down there. Nice play from Kimo. That's exactly what he needed here in that game, was a decent locust. I mean, 5 villagers is kind of a low amount in terms of what locust could potentially do, but it is going to be helping Kimo get back into this game for sure. But Count's now 2 town centers. He's still putting pressure on. We are starting to see cavalry coming through. Kimo might want to be a little bit concerned about Count transitioning into like full Ulfsark here as well. Look at the food in the bank for Count von Count at this moment. As the rock searching around for the gold positioning, there are 3 gold mines here, one hiding behind this spot here as well. As the units coming back here, bringing the raiding cavalry as well to deal with those axemen as best as he possibly can. But Kimo is going to have some advantage where that's concerned, as the rock flying straight over the town center. Is the rock going to fall? One thing you can do if you're in this position as the Norse player, you can garrison some units in to get bonus damage onto the rock. It looks like the rock is still completely fine. Sees that mining gold mine there. Has not found the gold mine just yet. As the army's starting to push through here, we are now starting to see those Ulfsark coming out that we were talking about. They're going to be very useful against the cavalry. Kimo now 100 of 115 population. He's chucking up what looks to be a mining camp over here and potentially a Migdol stronghold to boot. As it seems to me, Kimo, he must be feeling like he's kind of stabilized to some degree at this point. He's going to have to... He still has to get himself a town center, otherwise he's going to be falling behind on the economy quite considerably. As Count tries to break through here, but the army just not making the trades well enough. As Kimo starting to pull through here, the Wadget, the Pitsukos doing some solid damage here as well. As Count has to pull all the way back, he's still not yet having the resources to get to that heroic age. He's got the pickaxe, he's got the armory, getting him a shaft mine here wouldn't go astray, as well as the villagers in the center of the map going to get it taken down as the ox cart trying to push through, as the villagers coming through onto this position to grab that location. The chariot archers trying to find where those Ulfsark are, and they will indeed spot them. Count von Count's movement there is not going to be good enough, as the heroic age can now get researched by Count von Count, and that means effectively here Kimo should be losing an entire army to that frost, which means his economy is even further behind than you might think. As the ox cart goes down, count still hasn't clicked up to that next stage. Not sure exactly what he's waiting on as the longhouse goes up, and there's the Skadi on the way now. And the question is going to be, where to next? Get a third town center, keep running around the map, causing problems. We do see a little cheeky raid onto this gold over here. Still a little bit of gold left in the main base, but a nice raid nonetheless here on this location. But the villagers do have Skin of the Rhino now. Picking off a villager can be quite difficult, as you can see how much HP that villager has as it does get taken out. As the villagers moving forward here as well. Skadi, watchtowers coming through as well. Villagers popping out of that town center over onto the mining camp for the time being here. Villagers over here starting to get raided. Nice find here for Kimo, but Kimo's not clicked onto the villagers here, rather preferring a different option. As one villager down, two villagers down. Count's not reacting. There he goes, starting to pull back into the town center over there as he's got all the units in the center of the map. Copper mail coming through for Kimo. How are the upgrades looking for Count von Count? He's got copper shields. Big important upgrade to grab there for Count von Count. Wouldn't mind seeing some more coming through, or at least getting the line upgrades at this point. As the Frost Giant starts moving through here as well for Count von Count. As the Wadjet puts some pressure onto the villagers here. We will be seeing Count now starting to break through onto this position, but the Rock simply just picks up the units and moves away. Do we see the upgrade here? Still no upgrade for those throw and axe. I think it's an upgrade that's well worth grabbing to defend against the Rock for those throw and axemen, because you can just snipe it down and then it's over. But for some reason, not grabbing it. Plenty of favor in the bank, plenty of resources in the bank. We see a marker coming up. Looks like Count is going for that Ragnarok. He says, look, exposed gold mines all on the map. No problems. There's another gold mine down the bottom here as well. We have some random houses here. But the Rock getting chased away. As the thing is that the weakness here is that the throw and axemen, they have the same speed as the Rock. So the Rock will get away, but the Hearse are going to be able to take down those Patsugos, the Wadjet, and everything else is going to be falling here. And Kimo, you got to think he's been making a bit of a mistake there by making that call of dropping the myth units. He could have just kept running with the Rock. As the villagers over here starting to get taken down, Balder has been clicked up by Count von Count to boot here. As the villagers pulling back into the town center, a couple more villagers falling. As Kimo doing his best job trying to take out all the cavalry and everything, or trying to take out all the units here of Count von Count. But again, unlike when you're playing one town center openings, Kimo delayed second town center, this comes into that feeling of that first game where he went bast against the Rag, and it's like you just don't have the economy that you would otherwise have had if you went for a fast second town center play. And that's kind of the problem here that Kimo has found himself in. He needs to get more damage done to slow this Balder, this Ragnarok from coming in. If he doesn't get that damage done, the Count von Count army is just going to be too strong. As the Ulfsark come through, villager does get taken down. Chariot Archer is going to be getting pulled back as well. As the cavalry getting picked off, Chariot Archers retreating back. But what can Kimo do now? He's got this gold mine over here. One option would be to set up for some sort of like rock siege tower drop. When all those Rag heroes come through, you fly in with the rock, you drop the siege tower and you kill the town center, and potentially you can find yourself some sort of a comeback to an all-in Ragnarok thing. Maybe as an idea. I don't know. Scalloped axe coming through for Kimo as he's getting set up for the Rag. This Count von Count's economy is through the roof. Plow coming through as well. As the Frost Giant comes in, starts getting some good damage done. Priest targeting down that Frost Giant as well. Medium throwing Axeman getting some good damage done onto the Axeman popping out. As Count is just more than happy to just not click rag here at this point. He doesn't need to. He's going to get the fire giant out. He's setting the fire giant onto the gold mine over here as the villagers, they're all going to start spreading out. Doesn't manage to kill any. Does a lot of damage to them, and he's going to start cleaning those up very, very fast here. Kimo's not paying attention onto that location as another fire giant makes its way over onto this position. Naked fire giants, not the best of ideas because Priest can come in and deal with them fairly easily. But if he starts sending some more units over onto that position, say raiding cavalry or something like that, it's going to be in a fantastic position. We do see the farms not quite up in the amount that I would like. He's also got all that hunt in the middle of the map that he could move forward and grab if Count Von Count really wanted to. As we see, the town center has been found over here. Count wants to get himself up to 3 town centers and be in a good position. I'm just trading fire giants for villagers. Is that a bad move? I don't think so. That's a lot of villager kills. There's a pharaoh now coming in. He's going to put a stop to these fire giants much, much faster. And Count's probably should be retreating from that as he's throwing away the finite amount of fire giants that he can actually have. There's a marker coming up for Count. He's going to be setting up for that Ragnarok fairly soon here. There's a throwing axeman coming in trying to snipe down the pharaoh on the back there. A couple more villagers. What a funny way to use a fire giant. Honestly, fire giant raids, not something you see very often. As the pharaoh does end up getting sniped there. Nice play. Kimo's trying to get himself up to the mythic age at this point, but he's under so much pressure. Look, if the fireball hits those villagers there. Okay, it was only one. Oh, it's going to be more. But it is more. More villagers are dying. Kimo is hurting here. There is no doubt in my mind Kimo is hurting. He's on 3 town centers. We do see a 3rd town center coming up. The raiding cavalry trying to come through here for Count Von Count. He's got too many villagers at the moment for the population he's got, so definitely fortified town centers wouldn't go astray here. Obviously, the 3rd town center is going to help out a ton. Nice micro here from Count to retreat away from those priests. There's plenty of priests are here. And the frost comes down. He hits 15 villagers with the full army. Kimo's got to be feeling the pain here at this moment. We also see a fire giant on this gold mine as well, preventing that one from coming in. There is another gold mine down the bottom, which both players have not spotted here just yet, as the throwing axeman moving forward in onto this position. We'll see how it all goes. The axeman starting to get taken out here as well. Hillfort on the way on the front here is Count Von Count might want to start making rams, or in preparation for a Ragnarok, or just making straight into the ballista as another option here. Is the raiding cavalry trying to take out those priests as best as he possibly can. Because now he's got the 3 town centers. He can get himself that fortified town centers as well, but he's kind of waiting on that one for waiting to spend those resources on something else here. So fire giants retreating back. Frost does expire there. Villagers going to start going back to work. Kimo very, very low on the gold at the moment. Walls coming back up over here. There's no effort to stop that gold mining operation coming through. There's fortified town centers coinage coming through as well for Count Von Count. Do we see any siege coming out of this hill fort? Is it just a offensive building dealing a decent amount of damage? 10 damage per second times 3. I mean, honestly, like, Kimo's holding really well here. He's playing it nicely, but can he find a way to hold the Ragnarok is the big question. He needs to put a lot more defenses over on this side. Just accept that you're going to sack this top side eventually here as the gold mine's almost expired, and put all the towers down over here and just start preparing for the worst here. As 1 fire giant goes down, 2 fire giants can go down over here. Lots of priests in the back here as the villagers getting pulled off the gold mine, going to come in to try and take out the hill fort. As portable rams starting to come through for Count Von Count. Iron shields coming through as well for Count Von Count. Needs some more upgrades to boot here. There's the chariot archers moving forward onto this position. So raiding cavalry going to move down to the bottom side of the map to take out some more villagers. We see that Count Von Count is more than happy to just keep taking raw villagers out here as they try and break down the town center, but they're just not town center, the hill fort, but they're just not quite able to do so as a random portable ram pops out here. Not really the the unit he needs at this point. But the raiding cavalry come over here onto Kimo's villages yet again. As all the action happening on this position, count on count hits the villages. Will Kimo notice this? Normally you just turn around and shank this, but if something else is going on, it can be quite difficult to make that work, as count is still sitting in a very healthy 160 population. He does probably could use with a few more military buildings here as well, as the town center trying to get taken out. The fire giants pulling back ever so slightly. Market in this corner not quite in the best position it can possibly be, and is count going to be retreating away for the time being over there as well, as the medium raiders coming back in. Both those portable rams are going to be going down as the fortified town center stands fairly true there, as Kimo sees that next gold mine on the bottom there, and he's like, okay, he's got to be thinking, all right, Migdol. Well, like 3 Migdols here on this position to block this off. Towers going down. Everything needs to come down on that bottom position to block that Ragnarok from coming through and wiping him out in this game. Obviously, he can do it when he sees the Ragnarok as well as an option. As there's that rag we were talking about, 330 HP or population worth of disgustingness coming for Kimo. Kimo's gold mine over here, 1,500 gold left in the bank. If Count pays attention here, he should know both gold mines on the bottom means we're going to put all the pressure down here. The army for Kimo looking a little bit worse for wears here. Those cavalry aren't going to be useful. The chariot archers going to be decent. The priest going to help out a lot, but I imagine that Count can just leave the fire giants at the back and just send everything through as the villagers pull off that gold mine over here. Going to be going straight up to the town center. You'd have to expect as the rag wave crashes through in onto this position, and Kimo, what can he do? He pulls back. He's got no rocks or anything trying to find a town center to attack. No siege towers. He's in the classic heroic age, so no access to the champion upgrades for his axemen here. As the town center starting to get targeted down, rag heroes pushing through, just clashing right into the front base of Kimo. Kimo's got himself 400 gold in the bank. Not enough to really get much out at the moment at all, as the fire giant still happily sitting on the back here, taking units out that are just kind of spewing out into the middle of nowhere. Rag Heroes hitting this gold mine as well. Going to be putting a stop to that to boot, as the town center on the bottom just falls. And now the home town center is the next port of call where all the farms are of Kimo, as Count von Count can put a stop to the farming economy of Kimo to boot here, as the villagers getting taken out on this position. And Kimo in that position does decide to tap out. Count von Count, too strong in this map, played it far too well for Kimo, or should I say, I feel like Kimo's decisions here did not give him an easy opportunity to win this game. Kimo had full control of the map. All he needed to do was drop another barracks, continue producing spearmen, Wadget, maybe some axemen and some slingers. He could have taken full control of the middle of the map here on the giraffe. He could have gone 3 town centers. He would have been able to delay that rain, get a much better, more efficient rain with, say, 30 farms, 25 farms instead of the 14 or so that he'd placed down. And Count von Count, he just plays this, honestly, incredibly standard. And he manages to take this win because Kimo just could not find anything after all was said and done. Congrats to Count von Count getting the dub against Kimo. Well played by Count von Count. He is always going to be that dark horse you've got to watch out for. Some days he has a really good day and some days not so good. This was a good day for him. If you did enjoy it, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.